Hi, today we are going to see about factors affecting design of controlled drug delivery. So I am going to start a series of lectures. As usual, it has been requested by one of our subscriber regarding novel drug delivery system. In that first chapter is our control drug delivery. So first we will see what is the rationale behind the controlled drug delivery. Then we will go for what are the factors affecting design of controlled drug delivery system. So what is the rationale is generally what happens if you can see here, if you take concentration, plasma concentration and y-axis and time on x-axis. So we have a therapeutic window here. So this is minimum effective concentration and this is a minimum toxic concentration. So now in general what happens if you give conventional dosage form, if you give conventional dosage form, there will be a rise in the plasma drug concentration, and this reaches to the maximum. There will rise in the plasma drug concentration, reaches maximum, then it will fall. Again you will give other drug, then it will again rise and it will fall. This is what conventional dosage form plasma drug concentration time profile will look like. Now the problem here is, check these parts. One is higher concentration which is going above the minimum toxic concentration. Other one is lower concentration which is going below minimum effective concentration. So these two concentrations are very not very effective, or you can say the toxic concentration will produce toxic effects and this concentration will produce no effects. There will be no effects produced by this particular concentration. Here no effects, and here we have toxic effects. So that's what the problem is. So to avoid this, what we want to do is I need to keep the plasma drug concentration in this therapeutic window. This window we call it as therapeutic window. I need to keep that. So we have controlled drug delivery where the rate of release of drug is in zero order. Its plasma drug concentration profile will be like this. For controlled drug delivery, see this is the controlled drug delivery. It's you can clearly see here there will be no ups and downs in the plasma drug concentration of the given drug. So this will avoid your unwanted side effects or no effect which is caused due to the low concentration of the drug below minimum effective concentration. And also we have sustained drug delivery, which again we can mention it like this. So sustained drug delivery, its plasma concentration profile will be like this. This is your sustained drug delivery. System. So this how this sustained drug delivery system and controlled drug delivery system will look like. So the rationale behind producing your controlled drug delivery system or sustained drug delivery system is this one. So because we have a problem in conventional dosage form, that is either the concentration is going beyond your minimum toxic concentration or the concentration is going below minimum effective concentration, which in either case is not useful for the patient. So to increase the safety, to increase the efficacy and also to increase the lifespan of a drug, or you can say dosage form. What I mean to say is if the drug is in conventional dosage form, if you want to reduce the side effects of the drug and also improve the efficacy of the drug and improve patient compliance, for that you need to convert that particular dosage form, your conventional dosage form, into sustained and controlled release. By converting this into sustained and controlled release, again the product life cycle of particular drug will be increased because you are giving this in a new form. Previously it is available in conventional form, now you are converted into sustained drug delivery or controlled drug delivery, which in turn has its own advantages. So the lifespan of particular drug is increased, and each and every time I can't able to produce new drug for a particular disease. Let's say for example we can take antibiotics. So antibiotics, to increase their efficacy, instead of producing a new antibiotic, you can take the old antibiotic and make it in a new dosage form, which will increase its plasma drug concentration time profile, in turn which will reduce its side effects compared to its conventional dosage form, and also gives more patient compliance. So this how you can increase the life cycle. So this is the rationale behind producing your control or sustained drug delivery system. Now we will see what are the factors affecting designing of control or sustained drug delivery system. So if you go to the factors, you can check here. Yeah, if you go to the factors, so the factors has been divided into two types. What are those? Physiological properties. Here you can clearly see this one. Okay, this one is physiological property. Yeah, we can take this one. Okay, physiological property. Okay, physiological properties, and we have other thing, biological property. Yeah, check this one. First one is physiological property. In that we will study about what are the physiochemical properties of the drug as well as some other properties which I am going to deal in the later part. So we have here aqueous solubility of the drug. See, what the main thing what we need to remember here is, before starting this factors affecting, I need to give one statement here. I am designing a dosage form. Let's say this is a dosage form. I am designing a dosage form with a predetermined mindset saying that I can control the release of drug from this dosage form. So I am designing a controlled release or sustained release dosage form with a predetermined mindset that okay, what is there in my hand, I can control the release of drug from the dosage form. What is not in my hand, that is absorption, distribution, metabolism and elimination of the drug is not in my hand. So whatever the property of the drug is there, okay, that property of the drug which is there, I can control that property just by controlling the release of the drug from this dosage form. If I control the release, then it will be controlled released, and I assume that okay, this will act as a predetermined way. But if the drug is having any problem in absorption, let's say drug is absorbing slowly, what I assume while designing the dosage form, what I assume is drug has normal absorption, drug has normal distribution, metabolism or elimination. If the drug has abnormal absorption, I can't control that abnormal absorption. It is not in my hand. What I can do is solely I can only control the release of the drug from this dosage form. So remember, while writing the factors, the control which you have in your hand is release of the drug from the dosage form. So what are the factors which are affecting release of the drug from the dosage form? We will study here. Then what are the factors affecting biologically also? Then we are going to study that. Means what is the drug candidate which is good to select? Okay, what are the properties of the drugs which are good for designing controlled drug delivery? So for that, just remember the thing which I can control, which is there in my hand, is release of the drug from the dosage form. Once it releases, I assume it is absorbing normally, I assume it is distributing normally. whether it is metabolized or elimination is in the normal. What is that normal? We are going to try to see in the factors affecting. Okay, so the first factor is aqueous solubility in physiological properties. If your drug is having, say, aqueous solubility in two extremes is not recommended. Two extremes in the sense, if the drug is having high solubility, assume the drug is having high solubility, what happens? There will be a problem of dose dumping. Okay, see here, if the drug is having high solubility, there will be a rapid increment in plasma drug concentration, which I doesn't want. What I want is the plasma drug concentration should increase like this. I don't want its rapid increasing. Okay, so I don't want very soluble drug, highly soluble drug is a poor candidate for designing controlled drug delivery, and also drug which is having less solubility. If the drug is having less solubility, it will not come out from the dosage form. That's what I said. I can control that one. The drug is having less solubility, it is not coming out from the dosage form. In that case also, it is a poor candidate for designing controlled drug delivery. So, drug with moderate solubility and not poor and not high soluble are the good candidates for designing controlled drug delivery. In that, what are those drugs? Which class? BCS class 3 and class 4 drugs are not suitable. Means what? Class 1 and class 2 drugs are suitable for designing your controlled drug delivery. Class 4, class 3 and class 4 are not suitable. See, class 4 is what? Your solubility is less as well as permeability is less. What is class 3? Class 3 solubility high but permeability is less. So class 4 drugs are having low solubility and low permeability. They are not useful for us for designing controlled drug delivery. Class 3 drugs are having high solubility but the permeability is low. I said I can control only the release of drug from the dosage form, but I assume that it has good permeability for the absorption. Even though it is having high solubility, if the permeability is not there, then I can't design them in the dosage form, that is controlled release dosage form. So this is what is about aqueous solubility of the drug. Next is partition coefficient. What is partition coefficient? Partition coefficient is concentration of drug in organic medium divided by is a ratio of concentration of drug in organic to the aqueous. If the partition coefficient is high, it indicates the drug is staying in organic layer. More and more amount of drug is staying in organic layer. If the partition coefficient is less, it indicates more and more drug is staying in aqueous layer. Now come to the GIT. Inside the GIT we have aqueous, that is our GI content. The GI lining is organic. Assume it's organic. Okay. Now I want my drug to be permeable in both, having a partition coefficient which can go in aqueous as well as organic, both, because it wants to pass from aqueous region through organic, again blood is aqueous. So if the partition coefficient is good, then what happens? The drug will take partitionate between the organic layer and aqueous layer, because it is having both properties here. Its partition coefficient is moderate, so it is solubilizing, or you can say partitionating between aqueous and organic layer. So it can pass from the aqueous layer, that is GIT, through the stomach lining, that is organic, again through the stomach layer to blood, that is again aqueous. So it should have a good pK value, good partition value, P value. So high P value, partition value, and lower partition value drugs are not good candidates for designing sustained, or you can say controlled drug delivery system. Okay, it should have good water solubility. It should have good partition coefficient, neither high neither low. So extremes will be not considered here. Both extremes. High partition coefficient is not good candidate, and low partition coefficient is also not a good candidate for designing controlled drug delivery. Now, to measure the permeability, or you can say to measure the partition coefficient of the drug, generally we use aqueous solvent as octanol. Octanol is used as organic solvent, and aqueous as water. Octanol water system, if drug is showing, to know whether the drug is passing through the biological membrane or its partition coefficient is good with the biological membrane or not, for that instead of taking biological membrane and testing the partition coefficient, we can directly test with a substitute for the biological membrane, that is octanol. So octanol water partition coefficient has been widely used here. See, it is given. It has been widely used as a measurement for determining relative lipophilicity of the drug. If it is staying in octanol more, then we can say drug is highly lipophilic. If it is staying less in octanol layer, we can say drug is a less lipophilic. Okay, drug that are very lipophilic, lipid soluble or very water soluble, both extremes are not recommended here. That what is been given. Okay, we know this, because drug has to pass from the GIT to the tissue to the blood, etc. So many things are there, and also once it passes through the blood, again from the blood it has to pass through tissue where it has to show the action. Again, tissue is organic, the blood is aqueous. So it should have good partition coefficient, neither extreme nor less. Okay. Next is drug PK. So PK and pH play a interrelation between the solubility of the drug. For that you can see the range here. PK range for acidic drug. If the drug want to solubilize more, the PK range should be for acidic drug, that is the pH is 3.3 to 7.5 for acidic drug, and for the basic drug 7 to 11. If this is the range, then the drug will be solubilizing more. Just remember, PK and pH will play important role. Wherever there is a solubility issue, if the drug is not solubilizing any particular pH, then we are not recommending the drug as a sustained drug delivery. It should have good solubility in both the pH, because while controlling the release, we assume the drug will be releasing in stomach as well as intestine. Only provided if you are going for an enteric coating, other than that, we are assuming that drug is releasing in both the system, stomach as well as intestine. Then drug stability. Now I told I can only control the release of drug from the dosage form. When drug come out from the dosage form, when the drug is going to come out from the dosage form, if the drug, there are enzymes in stomach as well as intestine. If this drug is reacting with the enzymes.
Hi there, I'm Cortana and I'm here to help. A little sign in here, a touch of Wi-Fi there, and we'll have your PC ready for.
Okay. Yeah, if the drug is releasing in stomach and as well as intestine, if it is reacting with the enzymes, or you can say if the drug is undergoing acid hydrolysis in stomach, the drug is undergoing base hydrolysis, alkaline hydrolysis in intestine, or if the drug is undergoing enzymatic degradation, okay, or with any other gastric fluid, okay, these are not good candidates for designing controlled drug delivery system. Okay. So what is this point is saying is the drug should be stable. What I am going to control here, I am going to control only the release of the drug from the dosage form. That is only in my hand. If as soon as it releases, it is undergoing any type of degradation, whether say acid base or enzymatic degradation, then it is not good candidate to design controlled drug delivery system. Then we have other factor, physiochemical factor of drug, that is molecular size and molecular weight. So the drug should, see, we have two passage of the drug in a dosage form. What happens? Drug should pass from the polymer matrix to come out from the designed dosage form, and also drug should pass from the lining of your stomach. So 2 times it has to pass. The drug which is coming out from the polymer matrix, we call that term as diffusivity. The drug passing through your lining, we call it as permeability. Okay. So we have two things here, two different terms, that is diffusivity and permeability. In either case, the drug should have a small size and small weight. What is that? We'll try to see here. See here. If the drug, for the drug to diffuse across biological membranes, I said to, okay, for drugs to permeable across the biological membrane, the drug molecular size should be less than 400 daltons, or you can say weight should be less than 400 daltons. If the drug is having more than 400 daltons weight, then due to that, because it has more weight, it is larger in size, it will cause problem in permeation, whether say in the dosage form or in the biological membrane. See here. In addition, we have diffusion through various biological membranes. Drug is going to diffuse through a rate controlling membrane. I just said to, there will be a dosage form where I have rate control membrane. From this rate control membrane, the drug has to come out. Okay, it has to diffuse and come out from this rate control membrane. If the drug size is more, it can't pass through the rate control membrane and drug never comes out from the dosage form. Then it is a failure of the dosage form. So I never want that to happen. Next is ability of drug to pass through the biological membrane. Okay, sorry, ability of drug to pass through the membrane, we call it as diffusivity. Here the important influence upon the value is polymer is molecular size of the diffusing species. What this point, overall what this point is saying is the drug size should be less, then only it will diffuse from the biological membrane, or you can say your polymeric membrane. Overall what I am trying to say here is that the drug size should be near 400 or less than 400, then only it can pass through the membrane which is rate controlling, or you can say biological. Next one is protein binding. See here, protein binding. So what is happening? I told you I can only control the release of drug from the dosage form by using polymers, rate controlling membrane. After releasing, I assume that the drug is having a normal protein binding property. In that case, if I assume like that, and then only I will design controlled drug delivery system. If the drug is having more protein binding, now what happens? See, if the drug, when it passes through the membrane, it binds to the protein, okay, drug protein. If it is having more protein binding, then what happens? The drug available for the action will be less. The amount of drug, the concentration of drug available for the action will be less, because more drug is bounded to the protein. What I assumed here is I prepared a dosage form which will be having controlled release like this, okay, and this controlled, whatever the concentration is there in the plasma, it will be showing action. That's what I assume. But here what is happening, even though it is having controlled release in the plasma, but the drug is having a more protein binding, it will create a problem for me, okay. So already by binding to the protein, drug itself is performing sustained drug action. How? See, if the drug is not having protein binding, what happens? Drug will pass through the membrane, it will show action, metabolize, and it will get eliminated. If the drug is having protein binding, what happens? First drug pass through the membrane, first it will go to the protein bounded, then it has to go, it has to partitionate between concentration between the bounded protein to the unbounded drug. Okay, bounded drug to the unbounded, then it has to show action, then it has to come back. Now because your major portion of the drug is bounded to the protein, it will cause a problem. So because it is bounded to the protein, majorly it will cause problem. What problem? Already it itself is acting as a sustained drug or controlled drug delivery. So no need of converting again into controlled drug delivery. Okay. Now what are the various other causes which will be took place between due to protein binding of drug is inhibition of therapeutic effect of such amount. Then half-life is increased because it is bounded to the protein more, the half-life is increased. Then toxic profiles also elevated because there is a chance that I am giving the drug controlled fashion into the blood, and the drug which is bounded to the protein is also releasing the drug slowly. So at one time what happens, the drug which is entering into the plasma and drug which is coming out from the protein binding, there will be shooting up in the concentration of the drug in the plasma. So I don't want drug to have a high protein binding. So normal protein binding of drug is recommended. Okay. Now next we come to the another factor, that is biological properties. So what is the biological properties which will influence the design of your controlled drug delivery? So absorption. So what it says, absorption is an important factor which play a role in the formulation of controlled drug delivery system. However, rate limiting step of drug release from the dosage form, the absorption should be rapid. That's what I said. What I am assuming here is, just wait. What this point is saying is, I am controlling the release of the drug from the dosage form by applying rate controlling membrane. So the release of the drug from the dosage form is controlled. But when it is absorbing through the biological membrane, I assume that the rate of absorption is rapid. It will be a rapid here, rapid absorption. Okay, the absorption will be rapid there. That's what I assume. Okay, so yeah, absorption should be rapid. Why? Because here the absorption should be more than the release rate of the drug, because if the release is more and absorption is less, what happens, drug will be released more here, and because absorption is less, or you can say absorption is less, they start accumulating in the release site, causing the dose dumping. We call it as a dose dumping. So I don't want that to happen. So what I assume is absorption is rapid. Because I am controlling the release of drug from the dosage form, I assume that absorption is rapid. Then why I am assuming like that reason, the thing which I can only control is the release of the drug from the dosage form by designing controlled drug delivery. I don't have any action of controlling the absorption of the drug, metabolism. So it's not in our hands. What we have in our hands is controlling the release of the drug. Okay, so absorption should be rapid. Then distribution again. So how distribution affects the design of the drug in controlled drug delivery? Yeah. Now what happens if the drug is having, come to the distribution, if the drug is having good distribution property, then what happens, the drug will be distributed throughout the body in all the tissues, which again cause accumulation of drug there and tissue toxicity. Okay, so in the normal dosage form what happens, because you are releasing the drug very rapidly, the drug will distribute rapidly and it will accumulate in the tissue if it has good distribution. By controlling the release of the drug, this accumulation can be reduced, or by targeting the drug release only to the site of action, you can nullify the effect due to drug accumulation, negative effects due to drug accumulation. You can do that. Okay, so by converting the dosage form into controlled drug delivery, you can convert this, you can stop the accumulation of the drug or side effects due to the accumulation of drug in the tissues. Next is elimination. So I don't want the drug to be eliminated slowly. What I assume is, because I am controlling the release of the drug from the dosage form, I assume the drug elimination rate is more. Okay, so the drug will be eliminated through various organs like a liver, or you can say we have hepatic clearance and we have renal clearance. So removal of unwanted portion of the drug is slow. Okay, in such case, if the removal is slow, what we are going to do, if the drug is having slow removal, you can design the drug into controlled drug delivery, because you are controlling the release of the drug. So you are controlling the amount of drug which is going to enter in the systemic circulation. In turn, you can, even though the drug is having slow excretion properties, because you are controlling the release of the drug, you can make that drug, you can overcome the side effects due to slow release of the drug just by converting the drug into controlled drug delivery system. Okay, because you are controlling the release of the drug here. Okay, even the elimination is slow, because you are controlling this, you can overcome the negative effects due to slow elimination rate. Then biological half-life. So I don't want drug to have more biological half-life. I don't want that to stay in the body for more time, because the only thing which I am controlling is release of the drug from the dosage form. That what is the controlled release. Okay, if the drug is staying in the biological system for more time, that is half-life is more, then there is a chance of accumulation of the drug. So the drug with short half-life are good candidates here. So the drug with short half-life are good candidates for designing controlled drug delivery system. So ideally we want to have 2 to 3 hours of half-life. So the half-life of 2 to 3 hours are recommended. Okay, so if the drug is having 7 to 8 hours of half-life, this is not recommended. The drug candidate with 2 to 3 hours of half-life is a good candidate to formulate it in controlled drug delivery system. Remember, if it is having more half-life, it itself is performing sustained activity. Why should I again go and convert the drug into controlled release dosage form by spending so much money and knowledge, when it is having itself, it is having more half-life. So if the drug is having short half-life, these are the good candidates for formulating into controlled drug delivery system. Next, dose size. Because in controlled drug delivery system, you are giving more than one dose in a dosage form. Okay, let's say it is 500 mg per dose. So I am giving here almost 2 dose or 3 dose, like 1000 mg. Because more dose is been incorporated in the controlled drug delivery system, more amount of drug is incorporated, because it should release the drug slowly. We want our drug dose should be less. If the drug dose is less, the design of the tablet, or you can say dosage form, will be less. Otherwise, the size of the dose will be huge, hugely influenced by your dose. So for designing the good candidates, drugs which are having less dose are the good candidates for designing controlled drug delivery system. Okay, then therapeutic window, and you have absorption window. Therapeutic window, it is the action between, therapeutic window is the window, how much amount between minimum effective concentration and maximum toxic concentration. Whatever the window we have here, we call it as therapeutic window. Okay, it will show its therapeutic effects on when the drug concentration is in this window. If it goes below this, no effect. If it goes above this, there will be toxic effect. So you will get the therapeutic effect when the concentration of the drug is going to remain in the therapeutic window itself. Now some drugs will be having narrow therapeutic window like this. Then what happens? It is difficult to control the release or control the drug concentration to be in the therapeutic window if it is having narrow therapeutic window. In such case, those are not good candidates for formulating controlled drug delivery system. So drug with narrow therapeutic window are not recommended, only the drug with good therapeutic window are recommended here. You should have good therapeutic window. Okay. So drug with narrow therapeutic window or index are not suitable for controlled release drug delivery system. Next, absorption window also. So the drugs show absorption from specific segment like GIT, okay, or you can say intestine or somewhere. If the drug is showing absorption only in the GIT here, see it has been depicted here. If it is showing only in the GIT, in such case we can formulate into gastroretentive drug delivery system. For that, the drug candidate is a good candidate for. Here absorption window means where, in which site of your GIT the drug is absorbing more. If it is absorbing more in stomach, we say absorption window is good in stomach. If it is absorbing only in duodenum, absorption window is in duodenum. If it is absorbing in colon, we say the drug is having absorption window only in colon of your intestine. So this type drug which is having a specific absorption window are not good candidates to design controlled drug delivery, because I am only controlling the release of the drug from the dosage form. Now this dosage form will travel, once you take that dosage form, assume you are giving tablet, controlled release tablet. Once you are giving the tablet, this tablet will travel throughout the GIT. So what I will assume is the drug is having absorption throughout the GIT. It is having absorption throughout the GIT, not in particular region like your stomach. Okay, it is having absorption throughout the GIT. If it is having a particular absorption region, that is we call it absorption window, then we have to design in separate dosage form. That is, if the drug is having good absorption in stomach, design that in gastroretentive drug delivery system. Okay, so the drugs with narrow absorption window as well as narrow therapeutic window are not good candidates for controlled drug delivery system. Next is patient physiology. Again, the patient physiology also plays important role. What is the gastric emptying time? Okay, then what is the resident time? Okay, what is if the patient is having any GI diseases? If the disease is there, what is the influence of the disease for the designing of the dosage form? This also influence directly or indirectly in the design of the dosage form. Okay, so in overall, to put this in a nutshell, see here, if we take biological half-life, we want the drug biological half-life to be 2 to 6 hours. Okay, then if you take elimination rate constant, yeah, we require the elimination rate constant for designing the drug, controlled drug delivery. Then if it for total clearance, yeah, it should be dose dependent. Then only the candidate can be designed in the form of controlled drug delivery. If it is intrinsic absorption rate should be greater than the release rate. We assume that absorption should be greater than the release of the drug from the dosage form. Next, apparent volume of distribution. So VD affects the required amount of drug. If the distribution is more, your required amount of drug is also more for the action, showing the action. Okay, then absolute bioavailability, it should be more than 75%. Then steady state concentration, lower or smaller. So it should attain the steady state concentration in less concentration itself. If it is attaining steady state concentration in more concentration, then you need to give more drug, dose will be increased, then it create problems in designing the controlled drug delivery. Then toxic concentration, therapeutic window should be broader. I just said it, toxic concentration, there should be no narrow therapeutic window, that therapeutic window should be broader, then only you can design the drug into controlled drug delivery system. So these are the various factors which are influencing the design of the drug in controlled drug delivery system. I hope you understand.